It is 7 o'clock, and I'm going to call this meeting to order. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, council members, city officials. Welcome to the November 10, 2025 regular city council meeting. We are meeting at 26 South Paint Street, Chiillicothe, Ohio, and I would ask the clerk to call the roll.
Thank you, President Shoemaker. Bennett.
Present.
Payne.
Here.
McCourt.
Here.
Barnes.
Here.
McKeever.
Here.
Dement.
Yes.
Preston.
Here.
Dunn.
Here.
Creed.
Here.
I would ask Ms. Payne to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The minutes from the October 27, 2025 regular meeting have been distributed. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve by Mr. McCourt, second by Ms. Dunn, and the clerk will call the roll.
Bennett.
Yes.
Payne.
Yes.
McCourt.
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
McKeever.
Yes.
Dement.
Yes.
Preston.
Yes.
Dunn.
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
Minutes are approved. We'll now move to reports of committees. Development Committee, Mr. Dement.
Thank you, President Shoemaker. Development, we don't have any committee minutes to speak of, but we do have one item on tonight's agenda. Item number 1, which is the third reading of a resolution authorizing the mayor or president of council to execute an economic development transfer form, TREX, for a liquor permit for Ohio Springs Incorporated, doing business as Sheets number 825, located at 1525 North Bridge Street, Chiillicothe, Ohio. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Engineering Committee, Ms. Dunn.
There's nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Finance and Technology Committee, Mr. Creed.
Thank you, President Shoemaker. We had a committee meeting earlier this evening on 25-085. This was allocation of 2026 income taxes. Since the street levy will fall off at the end of this year, our income tax rates will drop from 2% to 1.8%. So this is just to adjust those so that the auditor can move forward with their software and get everything set up for next year. So we looked at that and we voted to move that forward to Law Director's office. We have one item on the agenda tonight. It is item number 5, and that is resolution to amend 1825 to reduce tax levies for the city of Chiillicothe for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2026 to amend the amount determined by the Ross County Budget Commission of inside millage payable to the general fund, certifying said levies to the county auditor and declaring an emergency. During our last meeting, we did have several questions on this. One of those was, are we legally able to reduce these? And on the police and fire pensions, which are each 0.3 mils, we are not legally allowed to reduce those. On the general fund, which is 2.6 mils, we are allowed to reduce that. And the ordinance says that we will reduce those to 2.21 mils, which saves the taxpayers about $270,000 a year. One of the other questions was on House Bill 186. House Bill 186 affects the schools, has no effect on local government. Next one was a question on House Bill 335. That House bill has not gone through the Senate yet, or has not been approved by the Senate. That would not provide any relief to our taxpayers until the next reevaluation, which is 3 years out. So we are the only governing body, and the county, local government bodies are the only ones that can affect that tax relief. Number 4 question was, we don't have the final numbers. At this point, the auditor is down to less than 200 properties across the county, which is less than 0.5%. Those results will be negligible. At this point, all 4 categories of properties which is agricultural, residential, commercial, and industrial, are over 30% increase throughout the city. So that would have very negligible effect on us. I think the fifth question was, what date do we have to have this to the county auditor and the budget commission? And that date was no later than November 17th. So with that being said, at the appropriate time, I'll make the motion to waive the 3-read rule so we can get this through council tonight. If we're unable to waive the 3-read rule, I'll probably ask that we have 2 special meetings so we can get that voted on before. Thank you.
Thank you. Human Resources Committee, Ms. Payne.
Thank you, President Shoemaker. We do not have any new items to report on this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Parks and Rec Committee, Mr. Barnes.
Thank you, President Shoemaker. We have nothing on the agenda for this evening, but I would like to give an update on the mural that is being painted on underneath Adina Road in that tunnel. Landon Moonstar, who's heading that project, he basically has turned it into a community event. There's a lot of people there on Saturday. He just showed me pictures just a little bit ago. It looks amazing. He will be finishing that up, I believe, this Saturday. So, here in about 2 weeks, we'll have a brand new mural to enjoy. So that's pretty much it on my end. Thank you.
Thank you. Safety Service Committee, Ms. Preston.
Thank you, President Shoemaker. Safety Services has one item on the agenda this evening. It's going to be a first reading of an ordinance appropriating money for the installation of speed humps and signage at various locations throughout the city of Chiillicothe. Those have become a very popular traffic calming source. So we have some areas that are requesting some more. We did have a Safety Service Committee meeting this evening. We had 3 items that we discussed. The first one was appropriation for replacement vehicle for the probation department. This was approved. The money comes from the court probation cash fund, so they have the money to purchase that vehicle. So that was approved. That'll be moving to the agenda. We also had a meeting about the implementation of Safe Haven Baby Box program, and this was also approved to move on for legislation. This box will be placed at station number 1, and we have some local funding from some community organizations that are going to fund that project. Then we also had a meeting about the 2026 Victim Witness Assistance Grant Award. This is the VOCA fund that we approve every year, and this was also approved to move forward to the agenda for next time. And that'll be all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Utilities Committee, Mr. McKeever.
Thank you, President Shoemaker. Utilities has 2 items on the agenda for tonight. Number 2 on the agenda, which is the 3rd reading of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a second amendment to the lease agreement between the City of Chiillicothe and T-Mobile Central LLC for telecommunications equipment located at 529 West Water Street, Chiillicothe, Ohio. Second is number 3 on the agenda, which is a 3rd read for an ordinance repealing all prior versions of Section 91508 of the codified ordinance of the City of Chiillicothe, Part 9, Title 3, Public Utilities, and enacting a new Section 91508 to clarify and update water rate provisions. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. City Services Committee, Mr. McQuirt.
Thank you, President Shoemaker. I have nothing on the agenda and nothing to report.
Thank you. Community Affairs Committee, Ms. Bennett.
Thank you, President Shoemaker. We have an item, number 4 on the agenda, the 3rd read. This is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Grossman and Kelly, PLLC, for legal services for silver claims relating to the PFAS contamination MDL 2873 and declaring it an emergency. And that's the end of Community Affairs report.
Thank you. We'll now move to reports of officials. Mayor Feeney.
Thank you, President Shoemaker. I'm going to start on item 5. I called Councilman Creed this evening and just sort of talk through some of my thoughts on this topic. And I just want to express the same thoughts for council and the public, regardless of how you vote, waiving the 3-read rule tonight or having special meetings. Some things I think you should consider when you're considering that vote. First, I'll start by saying I applaud council and the townships, everybody who's taken action to reduce the burden on taxpayers, particularly homeowners during this time. We all know inflation's through the roof. We know that these property tax mandates are upon us, and I don't know that any of us understand why. So I want to thank council for taking the initiative to consider this reduction. We are probably at, I don't know how I would calculate this, but I would imagine we are facing the biggest single reduction in workforce and therefore revenue decrease in the city's history. 850 plus employees over time, $1.5 million from a single employer. There is a ton of uncertainty still going into next year. And that is probably my biggest concern when we look at voluntarily reducing revenue by an unknown extent. We have projections, and I think they are pretty accurate projections, but I think there are some things that they don't take into account, which I just want us to consider. The first of which is that anybody who gets a property tax increase can appeal that increase to the Board of Revisions. And the largest increases we've seen, I believe, are to commercial and industrial property owners. I think the averages there are something around 130%. Those property owners can and will appeal those increases. And so the projections that we're talking about today, not necessarily absolutely, but they can be appealed. And so the projections that we're talking about will not go up, but they could go down. That's a concern that I have. So going into this budget cycle, not knowing, I don't think any of us know how many people are going to be employed at the glove manufacturer, what type of revenue that would look like. It just gives me pause for concern when we're talking about reducing potential revenue. I think, and as I understand it, the goal was to set out to help residential owner-occupied property owners, mom and pop, right? And I think that it was explored, and it was not possible to only reduce the millage for individual property owners in their homes. You had to reduce the millage for everybody, which presented a problem. How do you apply it equally to everybody? And I think that the solution that came about was appropriate. That being said, it's my understanding that not everybody in the city of Chiillicothe Corporation Limits has the same millage. My understanding is that if you live in Chiillicothe School District within the city corporation limits, your millage that you pay to the city of Chiillicothe, which goes to the general fund, is actually 1.6%. Based on the ordinance that's in front of you, I don't think that the people who are in Chiillicothe School District who live in the corporation limits will receive any benefit from this legislation as it's drafted, because it takes it from 2.6 to 2.21, as opposed to recognizing that there are other millages in the city. So in terms of equal application, we kind of missed something there. And that's my layperson's assessment. But then the final thing I'll say is that if we're going to set out to help mom and pop, or the property owner who has a home that was worth $150,000, and then let's say it does go up to $200,000, that tax burden, if we play out the math, they're going to be taxed on a third of the value of the 200, and that's going to be at 2.21 mils. I think you're talking about between an increase of $50 to $100 in that range. But that's the type of money we're talking about. The business owners, if their property goes from $1 million to $2.5 million, we're talking about more, but we're talking about $2,000 to $4,000 or something like that. Which, of course, because it's business, can either be deferred to a future year or written off, those sorts of things. So assessing the impact on a business is much harder for me to assess. But it is more easy for me to understand the impact because I have my own home, and I did the math on that. In my situation, I looked up my house. my property value went up about 10%. Next year, I would pay less property tax in 2026 than I paid in 2025 by about $18. It's a wide range of outcomes, right? Some people did build a house, for example. Their property value went from $20,000 to maybe $250,000. So their property taxes went up, but they should have because they built a house. But they get the same millage. What I'm going to arrive at is I think that there are other solutions that we could consider after all the facts are known. And one of those would be to simply offer a rebate or a refund to owner-occupied homes, right? You own a home, we give you a refund of X amount, right? We could do that in the spring when the dust is settled, we know what's owed, what we've got coming in, and we just go to the general fund and say, you own a property, we're going to give you a refund check of $100 or whatever that might be. And there's a challenge no matter how we look at this, applying it equally. But I do think that the outset of the goal, at least as it was stated to me, was really to help individuals and families with their expenses this year and next, because things are tight. And I think that what we're doing with this across the board application is displacing that across everybody, including business and industry and commercial. So at the end of the day, this isn't something that I'm going to veto. I think it's important to save a few bucks for everybody. But I do want to propose that there are potentially some other options out there, and those concerns that I mentioned around different millage rates and explaining to folks if they don't get this discount, why. So that's in the atmosphere now. I'm happy, if it goes to discussion to offer more thoughts, but I just wanted to offer some alternate scenarios that I thought could be helpful. And then I've just got a few announcements on city business. 7th Street, where it crosses Sugar and goes under the railroad tracks. Starting December 1st, that road, 7th, is going to go down to 1 lane because they're going to start doing bridge work. They're going to actually raise the railroad about 6 inches there. And so for December 1 through the school year, it will be 1 lane with a temporary signal, meaning there's going to be a traffic light going under the railroad crossing at basically 7th and Sugar. In the summer, when school gets out, it will go down, it will be closed. So all summer, that pass-through will be closed, and it will reopen when school starts to go back to 1 lane. We've gone through the scenarios with police, fire, emergency vehicles. A couple of the fire vehicles can go under that, but normally don't because they go down Main Street. Our trash trucks don't go, even though we're at Pepsi building there. Our trash trucks don't go under there. So we have worked through and obviously coordinated with the school district around busing and transportation, that sort of thing. But just want everybody to have that on their radar. It'll be inconvenient starting December 1st, which seems to be the traffic theme this year. And then it will be unpassable starting when school gets out for the duration of the summer. Leaf pickup started today. Based on budget concerns this year and going into next, we have cut the leaf pickup season down by about half. So we still have 3 crews, basically 1 person driving, 2 people on the back of the truck picking up leaves. We have always run the leaf pickup cycle essentially based on trash pickup, Monday through Friday, based on your week, kind of like we do large item pickup. That's going to be modified this year to be, we'll still loosely adhere to it, but there are just parts of the city that have more trees than others, and so there's going to be some flexibility. We will take calls, particularly, if you've got a big pile of leaves, we will take your call and try to get to it that week. But we're basically going to look at a 5-week leaf pickup cycle instead of 10, and then going into December, it'll be spottier to try to get that pickup. But basically, a reduction in half the time, and those seasonal folks. Almost all of the striping on Water Street related to the Appalachian Community Grant is done, except for the north side of Water Street, which is getting some angled striping for parking. There were some issues with where the additional parking spots meant that new ADA ramps needed to go in, and so the striping layout needed to be modified to accommodate those ADA ramps. We expect that concrete work to be done within the next 2 weeks, and the striping to happen after that. So we know it's confusing there, especially on the north side of water, and we're working to get that done quickly. Because of that new striping there's also some road signage that needs to be updated to reduce confusion, and we're on top of that as well. The land bank, for those familiar, is the entity that is able to pull down state grants for demolition. The land bank will probably get in between $200,000 and $300,000 this year allocated to it for abandoned and blighted property demolition. We are always appreciative of anybody who brings a property to us and says we want help tearing down this abandoned and blighted property. We're able to find them based on tax rolls or code violations, nuisance issues. But the easiest way for us to demolish an abandoned and blighted property is if somebody comes to us and says we need help demolishing this, we can't repair it, we wanted to, that sort of thing, because we always need an access agreement to get in there to demolish. I mentioned December 1st is the start for 7th and Sugar. It's also the start of the UDC that you all passed. Anybody who's submitted an application to Board of Zoning Appeals or Planning Commission, if they submit it this month, when they go to their Board of Zoning Appeals or Planning Commission meetings next month, that hearing will take place under the current laws. So if somebody is tempted to put in a Planning Commission application or Board of Zoning Review application today, they might want to check those changes to see if it might be beneficial to put in that application next month. Life might get a little bit easier if they wait a couple weeks to put in that application. So any application, anything that starts after December 1st will be under that new UDC. A couple positive things. Just want to close by thanking everybody who participated in the food drive that was held at the fire station, Station 1, over the weekend. That was a good turnout. And then I want to congratulate everybody on the election results. This is the first time I think I can remember that everybody in the room stays the same, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's right. So no turnover. And my opponent, Municipal Court, Judge-elect Miller over there. So congratulations to everybody. I look forward to working with you all another couple years. And that concludes my report.
We kind of stay this. We'll get older. Some of us quickly. I'll now go to the law director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Jason Miller here tonight on behalf of the elected law director. I have nothing to report, but I am familiar with all of the items on tonight's legislative agenda. I'd be happy to answer any questions as best I can. And even before or after during the meeting, I'm always here to help out with that kind of thing. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move to audience participation. Any person wishing to address the council must first provide his or her name and address. Comments shall be limited to 5 minutes, and I'll give you a warning when there is 1 minute remaining.
Hi, Matthew Shipley, 751 Phil Clear Road. This is my son, Landon Shipley. I don't like talking in front of people, so bear with me. I'm here about the skate park addition and requesting an additional addition as well. I did hear that the state, whatever grant was made for the city park, that they did not want to fund a skate park. And I believe the mayor was instrumental in making that happen. Not quite sure that is the case, but if so, kudos to you. Skaters and these other people are not second-class citizens. They deserve a good area. And I've been a police officer here for 16 years. So I know the skate park has its downfall, and but idiots are everywhere. So they will come to the skate park as well. But what I am requesting is a wall that would be specifically used for street art. And if I can, I'm going to try to put my myself and Landon. We had gone to Portsmouth and took part in a street art project down there where the executive director's name is Ron Williams. So he has made it to where an alley is dedicated for street art. Now, some people would consider this graffiti. All right, so in my opinion, graffiti is what's on the viaduct and these vulgar phrases that are spray painted on. This would be something that is a revolving art wall that would be constructed near the skate park, where we can go down and spray paint our names, our tags, or whatever, without vulgarity. And if I can figure this out, I will. So I had Vince Beverly come or give me an estimate for a wall that would be 8 feet tall by 40 feet long. And I'm thinking 8 feet just so, because I'm 6 feet tall, so if I'm reaching up and spray painting stuff, I figured 8 feet would be a good height. And it would also keep people from getting on top of it, tearing the wall up. I do believe Vince Beverly is a great concrete worker, and that the only thing that would take the wall out would be a vehicle flying through the wall. The proposal would be for, like I said, the 8 foot tall, 40-foot wall would be $9,300 was the estimate. So there would be a footer dug, then concrete block would be stacked up 8 feet tall. And that would allow people to come down and do their street art on both sides of the wall near the skate park. Understanding that it would be a revolving thing. So we could come down there and spend 3 hours painting whatever we wanted on there, and know within 24 hours, 48 hours, somebody may come along and spray paint over that. That's fine. And I have another 8.5 years of service here at the police department, but Chiillicothe has been my lifelong home and will be my forever home. So if this wall does happen as part of the skate park project, I will take it personally and make efforts to cover up any vulgarity that will happen, because idiots are among us. So there will be profanity that will be spray painted on the wall that we will try to curb. And I don't know how, I tried a couple times to get this to
Matt, do you want to
cast to
do you
this.
want to email it to the president? He can
I could do that.
disseminate it to us.
I got an album and everything.
Yeah.
I was ready. I came here with I came here through the work week a couple times, and I'm just not 100% sure how to cast it to it.
If you want to get that to us, we'll get it to everybody here at council so they can look at it and
Okay.
see it.
All right.
Because once again, I appreciate you coming and
Yeah.
talking about this, because we even talked about it down in the park. So
Yeah. And I've got
I
estimates
appreciate
if anybody wants a copy of the estimate. But like I said, Vince Beverly would be the one that I would request do it, who's a resident here, and that's it. You want to say anything?
Can I make copies? Can I
I've
make
got
copies of your?
I got copies of everything.
Okay.
I do have a question. Luke, you might be able to answer this. I've heard the skate park, it's in all kinds of different locations. Have we picked a location 100% where it's going to go?
So I can sort of summarize the question about, so we applied for, everybody knows we applied for a bunch of things. Some things were specifically rejected. The skate park was rejected, the pump track was rejected, and the splash pad was rejected. Officer Shipley's right. We went back to the state and said, you cut out the skate park, but we're putting the pickleball courts right where the skate park was, so we can't not have a skate park. And so they allowed us an exception to build a $400,000 skate park in a new location. And we sort of vetted different sites, one of them being south, kind of by the south basketball court by the south of the pump house. And then the second and third sites, one was kind of over, essentially beyond the outfield of where the new Diamond One will be across from Bomber Field. But the location that I think our goal was to get it in front of the Parks and Rec board to vote on. But the number one recommended location, and I think Councilman Barnes has sort of, he did a focus group with, or maybe a couple, with people who use skate parks, is the area immediately north of the existing sand volleyball courts. So it used to be 6 sand volleyball courts, and then there's the 3 that haven't been used in forever. And we think that kind of, it already has parking because of the pool, and it kind of makes associated activities together. I would say, you know, the skate park that we asked for in the grant was like $1.5 million skate park or something like that. The most significant thing, and this is actually what I thought where this was going to go, that this skate park won't have, that we were really hoping for it to have, is a bowl. So this will be, again, I might have stood on a skateboard once in my life, and it did not end well. So I'm not a very coordinated person, but I think this art wall is a good idea. And then, you know, if something like this, we are capped at $400K out of this grant. So this wall would be a budget item separate from the grant. The state's been very clear on that. And if the city council want to come back and say, we want to build a wall or we want to build a bowl, we stalled just enough time to make this work. Perfect.
Yeah, you took the pressure off of me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So if we wanted to build something like this, or if we wanted to add in a bowl and redesign, that would have to be an appropriations that the council does separately. And it could be, wouldn't have to be from Parks and Rec funds. It could be from general fund. But I think the feedback that we heard was, we actually heard that some folks were saying that smaller is better, that if you spread it out too much, it's not as fun. So that was something we learned. But that sort of having a different vertical elements, including a bowl, is neat. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Listen, I appreciate it. Seriously, the skate park is a huge deal. And again, it can cause an element of people to come in, but that's everywhere. So can the Canadian geese.
Well, we all know that the pickleball players are the worst, right?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
just rowdy
Yeah,
and mean.
I've seen their issues. So, yeah.
See what I mean?
So Landon's the one that got me turned on to the graffiti thing, and then so this is actually a wall of the pediatrician's office in Portsmouth. And like I said, Ron Williams is the executive director of the Portsmouth Street Art Project. So he went to council in Portsmouth, got this okayed. The business owner, the pediatrician, wanted this in the alley and was fine with that. And so the alley stretches all the way up. And as we sat there and did that this summer, people would stop, and Ron would have to say, "It's okay. You don't need to call the police. It's okay. We're allowed to do this." But there was no profanity, and I did add the smokestack because that was my artistic add-on, was the Chiillicothe smokestack. But we really had a great time, and this is Ron Williams doing one of his pieces of art. Now, again, within a couple of days, what he had spent hours down there doing could be gone. That's the point is you do it, you step back, you take a picture, and that's it. Yeah, this one here is the one that got me into the graffiti, and we definitely enjoyed doing it. And this is my first time lapse too, so. But I appreciate you taking the heat off of me so I could get that figured out. But I will still send that to you if you want it. That's fine. So you guys can see it. But I do think it would curb the vandalism around the city. To come there, do your thing, and take your picture and leave. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just have something that I brought up before. My name's Stone Johnson, 29 North Brownell. I don't know if I brought it up in a meeting. I don't think I have, but I've brought it up at a coffee and council, and I know I've talked to Mr. McCord about it. There is an intersection it's on Brownell and 2nd, that is really unsafe half the time because of the way that cars are parked. And I'm wondering if there's a way to either, parking wise, I don't think so, because it would take people's ability to park in front of their homes away. But like, honestly, it'd probably be just better to make that a 4-way stop, because there's been multiple times you can't see clearly to pull out because the way that people are parked. It's such a narrow street that it's just not safe there to pull out, with it being a 2-way stop. And there's been multiple times with me that I've almost got hit, like to the point where I was like having a panic attack afterward. And I know I hear the horn blown all the time there because of that. And I know there's a couple other spots in that area that are the same way, and it's just because, I think it's because 2nd Street is so narrow and there's no yellow to mark where you can't park, at least in the area that I'm at. And so if there could be something done about that, either transitioned into a 4-way stop instead of a 2-way, or further down yellow lines, but I don't think that will work for people that live in the area. That would be awesome. Thank you.
I have sent this to Jeff Carmen, and he said they're not going to make it a four-way stop. But he did say that they're supposed to come in there and mark the yellow lines. I told him, I said, the yellow lines are growed over. You can't even see them anymore.
No.
So he's supposed to come in there and do that, but I haven't gotten any update yet. But
Okay.
I'll send him out an email and ask him.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else?
It might be more interesting. My name is Connie Scott. I live at 392 McKell. I'm here to support the resolution 1825, where the property taxes are being considered modified. The 29% increase that's being suggested that I have seen on our own property tax statement, as well as my daughters and our sons, is a significant increase. And just like the mayor pointed out, many jobs have been lost at Excel, and how these people can sustain this increase with losing their jobs. It's incredible to think about the pressure they're under. Our son works for Kenworth. It's a wonderful place to work, but unfortunately, he's been cut down to 3 days and just recently increased to 4 days. And it has affected his money making and how he can pay his bills. So we look to City Council to do something about this, to assist the property owners. If you can do something to regulate this over the next 3 years, whatever you can do to have a more manageable increase instead of 29%. If you can do something with 3% each year for 3 years, you're in charge of that. You know more about it than I do. But I know that critical services are needed to be sustained. Property taxes are needed for that. But a workable solution is needed to take in consideration what people are experiencing in Chiillicothe right now. The state legislature, I have kept up with that a bit. They won't go into effect where they reassess till 3 years. So local government, we're depending on you to do something to help us with the property taxes. Yes, we have gone to the county auditor to have our modification made and the evaluation, but it's shocking when you buy a $150,000 house and now it's $250,000. I don't know if I could sell it for that or not, but that's the assessment. Thank you for listening. Please do something about this.
Thank you. If there's no further audience participation, we'll move to old business. Is there any old business to come before the council? Hearing none, I will move to petitions and correspondence.
Thank you, President Shoemaker. I've received, my apologies, one item from the Department of Commerce for a liquor license for Home Buys Incorporated, 985 North Bridge Street. Now, I think we did pass something like this earlier in the year, but this is a different permit class. So it's for the same place, but it's a different permit class. So if no one has any objections, I will get it signed and sent off.
Is that all the correspondence that you've received then?
That's all I've received. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any new business to come before council? I have one item that I will probably be sending to council for your review, and that is when the time changes, I'm going to give council a chance to take a look at the 7 o'clock time for this, whether it's better to make it 6:30 or 6, so that people don't have to go home and then come back out, especially if we've got bad weather. That'll be up to council to decide, but I'm going to make that as an assignment because at some point in time, it seems, I don't want it to be too soon after people are trying to get to work, or when people like people working at the school have meetings they have to attend. But sometimes it can seem a little late for folks who have to go home and then try to come back out if the weather isn't cooperating. So I'm going to send that out, and I will send that, and folks can take a look at that. If there's no other new business, we'll now move to the reading of ordinances and resolutions.
Thank you, President Shoemaker. This evening we have 6 items on the agenda. Item number 1 is the third reading of a resolution authorizing the mayor or president of council to execute an economic development transfer form, TREX, for a liquor permit for Ohio Springs Incorporated, doing business as Sheets number 825, located at 1525 North Bridge Street, Chiillicothe, Ohio 45601.
Clerk will call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
McCourt,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Dement,
Yes.
Preston,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
The ordinance is adopted. The next ordinance.
Item number 2 is the third reading of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a second amendment to the lease agreement between the City of Chiillicothe and T-Mobile Central, LLC, for telecommunications equipment located at 529 West Water Street, Chiillicothe, Ohio.
Clerk will call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
McCourt,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Dement,
Yes.
Preston,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
Ordinance is adopted. Next ordinance.
Item number 3 is the third reading of an ordinance repealing all prior versions of Section 915.08 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Chiillicothe, Part 9, Title 3, Public Utilities, and enacting a new Section 915.08 to clarify and update water rate provisions.
Clerk will call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
McCourt,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Dement,
Yes.
Preston,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
Ordinance is adopted. Next ordinance.
Item number 4 is the third reading of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Grossman and Kelly, PLLC, for legal services to prosecute civil claims related to PFAS contamination, MDL 2873, and declaring an emergency.
Clerk will call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
McCourt,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Dement,
Yes.
Preston,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
Ordinance is adopted. Next resolution.
Item number 5 is the first reading of a resolution to amend a resolution number 18-25 to reduce the tax levies for the City of Chiillicothe, Ohio for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2026, to amend the amount determined by the Ross County Budget Commission of inside millage payable to the general fund, certifying said levies to the county auditor, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Creed,
President Shoemaker, I'd like to make a motion to waive the 3-read rule, please.
seconded by Ms. Dunn. The clerk will call the roll relative to the waiver of the 3-read rule.
Bennett,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
McCourt,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Dement,
Yes.
Preston,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
If there is no further discussion relative to the issues that were raised relative to this particular resolution, then I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and call the roll relative to the resolution.
Bennett,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
McCourt,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Dement,
Yes.
Preston,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. The next ordinance.
Item number 6 is the first reading of an ordinance appropriating $59,726.76 for the installation of speed humps and signage at various locations throughout the City of Chiillicothe, Ohio.
Ordinance will move to the next agenda. Is there any other business come before council? Hearing none, I would accept a motion to adjourn. Motion by Ms. Bennett, second by Mr. Barnes. Clerk will call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
McCourt,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Dement,
Yes.
Preston,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.